Hello everyone and welcome to my CSU channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chrisley shares how parents talked with no contact order. Chrisley has shared how his parents talked to each other with a no contact order. This is something that was extremely hard on Todd and Julie. However, they still got to talk once in a while, and Chase explained how. This was not an often occurring occurrence, and it was not what they would prefer. There is a lot to unfold and uncover. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Todd and Julie Chrisley get home from federal prison. Todd and Julie Chrisley were in federal prison for 2.5 years. However, Donald Trump pardoned them earlier this week. Both were released from prison on Wednesday. They got to go home and see their friends and family. However, this was also the first time they got to speak to and touch each other in years. This reunion had to be sweet. Savannah had been fighting for her parents' freedom since the day they were arrested. This is a dream come true for Savannah, Chase, Grayson, and Chloe. Fans cannot wait to see their new Lifetime show that will be coming soon. However, they are hopeful Todd and Julie will make their appearance. Chrisley shares how parents talked. Chrisley has shared how his parents talked in prison with a no-contact order. This would be hard for anyone. Not getting to talk to your significant other can take a major toll on your relationship. However, Todd and Julie do not seem like they skipped a beat. It seems as though Todd and Julie could occasionally send emails to each other. However, they would take weeks to get to one another, and the conversations could not be had. Regardless, they got to hear from each other once in a while, which helped and was better than not at all. Fans are glad to see Todd and Julie home with their children. What do you think about this? Are you shocked they got to email each other? The Chrisley family has never lived a life free from drama. But Chrisley recently opened up about something that stunned even the most loyal fans. How his parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, managed to communicate while under a strict no-contact order from prison. For the reality TV stars who once showcased their family life on Chrisley Knows Best, prison time hasn't just been a punishment. It's been a crash course in survival, emotional endurance, and family unity despite impossible odds. Chase's revelations have sparked curiosity and controversy, leaving fans wondering how much of the system the Chrisleys managed to bend, and just how far their love for each other really goes. The no-contact shock. When Todd and Julie Chrisley reported to separate federal facilities in January 2023 to serve their sentences for tax evasion and fraud charges, fans knew the couple would be separated. But the reality of the no-contact rule hit harder than anyone expected. They didn't just take away their freedom, Chase explained in a recent conversation. They tried to take away their marriage. Prison regulations often separate spouses in federal custody. The no-contact order meant Todd and Julie were forbidden from calling, emailing, or even mailing letters to one another. For a couple married for more than 25 years, who built a life and raised children together, this restriction was devastating. Chase pulls back the curtain. In his candid revelation, Chase didn't mince words. Mom and Dad figured out ways to let each other know they were okay, he shared. They were never going to just sit there and accept silence. According to him, the Chrisleys leaned heavily on their children, Savannah, Chase, and Grayson, as messengers. Every phone call from prison to the outside world became a lifeline. I'd talk to Dad, and he'd say things like, "Make sure your mom knows I'm proud of her," or "Tell her I'm reading that book she recommended," Chase recalled. "And then I'd talk to Mom, and she'd want updates on him. I became the middleman." It wasn't just about relaying love notes. The couple found small, creative ways to communicate through their kids, turning family calls into coded exchanges filled with meaning. A marriage tested by bars. Chase said his parents' resilience shocked him, though it didn't surprise him entirely. "They've always been each other's biggest support system," he said. "Prison didn't change that. It just forced them to find new ways to show it. Julie, known for her calm presence on the show, reportedly leaned into her faith to stay strong. Todd, who was often the loudest voice in the family, had to find patience in silence. Chase admitted that the forced separation revealed how deep his parents' love ran. "I saw a different side of them," he explained. "Most people would crumble if they couldn't talk to their spouse for months, but they've held on tighter than ever." Once Chase shared the story, fans were split. Some applauded the Chrisleys for finding loopholes, seeing it as proof of undying loyalty and family strength. "They're proving love conquers all," one fan commented online. Others, however, criticized the move, calling it manipulative and unfair. "If there's a no-contact order, it's there for a reason," a critic argued. "Just because they're reality stars doesn't mean they should get special treatment." But Chase insists this wasn't about breaking the law, it was about survival. "They weren't sneaking around or anything shady," he clarified. "They just communicated through us kids. That's family." Savannah joins the chorus. Savannah Chrisley, who has been vocal about her parents' treatment in prison, echoed Chase's words. "People think a no-contact order means you just forget about your spouse," she said during a podcast appearance. "But that's not how marriage works. My parents are showing the world what it means to fight for each other, even when everything's stacked against you." She revealed that sometimes, just passing along a simple phrase or a Bible verse between her parents felt like moving mountains. "You could hear the hope in their voices when they got those messages," Savannah explained. The weight on Chase. While Chase admires his parents' resilience, he admits playing the messenger hasn't been easy. "Sometimes I felt like I was carrying both of their emotions on my shoulders," he confessed. "Dad would tell me how much he missed Mom, and Mom would tell me how much she needed to hear from Dad. And I had to hold it all together while I was hurting too." It was a reminder that while Todd and Julie are the ones serving sentences, the punishment extends to the entire Chrisley family. Bigger questions about the justice system. Chase's story has also reignited conversations about prison rules and whether they dehumanize inmates. Why punish love? Some fans asked online. If communication keeps people sane and helps them rehabilitate, why block it? Experts have long debated whether separating spouses in prison actually benefits rehabilitation or simply inflicts unnecessary suffering. In the Chrisleys' case, fans argue that the no-contact order seems excessive, given that neither Todd nor Julie poses a threat to each other. The future of Todd and Julie. Despite the restrictions, Chase believes the ordeal has only strengthened his parents' bond. "They've always said they were soulmates," he shared. "Now I believe it even more. Because if they can survive this, years apart, no contact, relying on us to carry their words, then they can survive anything." Chase hinted that once his parents are reunited, they'll share their story in their own words. "Mom and Dad have a lot to say about this journey," he teased. "And trust me, when the time comes, people will want to hear it." A lesson in love and loyalty. The Chrisleys have always been polarizing figures. Some admire their family values, others criticize their wealth and flamboyance. But Chase's revelation has reminded viewers of one undeniable truth: love doesn't stop at prison walls. "They've taught me what marriage is supposed to look like," Chase admitted. "It's not about being together only when it's easy. It's about choosing each other, even when the system tries to tear you apart." Final thoughts. Chase Chrisley's candid story about how his parents managed to communicate while under a no-contact order has given fans an intimate look into the struggles and resilience of the Chrisley family. While critics argue about rules and fairness, supporters see it as a modern-day love story, proof that Todd and Julie's bond remains unshakable despite prison bars. For Chase, it's simple. "Mom and Dad's love is louder than any order," he said. "And no matter what, we'll always find a way to keep them connected."